According to NASA, this is the only place on Earth that may feel like Mars. And Condé Nast calls this the second most beautiful beach in Türkiye. Having lived for over 2 years next to the first most beautiful beach in Türkiye, according to the same list, Olu Deniz, I was instantly intrigued. How come I've never heard of it? How come, with access to the Aegean, the Mediterranean, and the Black Sea, Türkiye's second most beautiful beach was a freshwater lake? These questions had to be answered, and one August Tuesday, we set out to answer them. And this is that story. We set out to see the lake early. It was early August, and beating the crowds was the default intention for every day. But we shouldn't have worried. Even in high season, the lake is the ultimate escape. The closest town to the lake is called Yeşilova. Literal translation, green plain. We were in Yeşilova for minutes, but it made quite an impression of a quiet, laid-back place that is somehow fully aware of its prime location. From the town of Yeşilova, Lake Salda is just a 10-minute drive away, and from here you will have many options from where you get to arrive at the lake. If this is your very first meeting with Lake Salda, I suggest you take the classic route and go to Lake Salda National Park first. You will need to pay a small entry fee, but the park is a nice introduction to the lake where you get to learn about it and swim in a protected area with lifeguards watching out for your well-being. It may come in handy, and I will get to why a bit later in the video. The park is well kept and has everything you need to explore the lake in comfort, from toilets and changing rooms to a burger and ice cream shop. But let's leave these behind for now and head straight to the lake. It's a bit of a walk, and then you see it. It starts off shy. You see a lot of white sand and then something bluish glimmering in the distance. But the closer you get, the more you realize that you are somewhere truly special. Let me give you a quick one-on-one moment with this place. Lake Salda is a crater lake. This means that the lake was formed as a result of a volcanic eruption. The interesting water color that made the lake famous is due to its unique mineral composition. The lake's mineral makeup, as well as the area's geology, make it very similar to the Jezero crater on Mars, and NASA are actually using findings from the lake in their research of the red planet. Salda is also a freshwater lake, which makes swimming here in summer a wonderful, salt-pinch-free experience. But the lake contains high levels of magnesium and hydromagnesite. This is the white powder you will see on the shores of the lake that at first looks like salt. When the sun rays hit the lake, they interact with the minerals and the light is reflected in such a way that it gives the water this really bright turquoise hue. It may remind you of how some tropical oceans look. But what makes this interesting is that Lake Salda is located inland, and you get this really picturesque backdrop of lush forests and mountains. The hydromagnesite that accumulates on the shores of the lake forms these soft, powdery beaches that resemble the white sands you see on tropical islands. The sand, coupled with the crystal clear water, give Lake Salda its Maldives-like appearance. Lake Salda is the deepest lake in Türkiye, reaching up to 196 meters in its deepest part. As you walk into the lake, it is deceptively shallow, but it gets deep very quickly and abruptly, something to keep in mind if you swim at one of the wild beaches. So, let's explore them. So far, we've been at the official entrance to the lake, but Lake Salda is huge, and there are lots more places from where you can explore it. So a nice gentleman just stopped by, and he stays in the town nearby, Yeşilova. And he told us that if we go all the way there, we'll see the Maldivlar, Turkish Maldives, where you can actually swim. It's not guarded like here. So this is why I strongly suggest you leave yourself enough time to see the lake in full. The best way to do this would be to drive all around the lake, stopping over at every beach that catches your eye. This is exactly what we did, and as it often happens, the absolute best spot revealed itself last. But there is a lot to see, and every spot around the lake has something a bit different to offer. For example, this beach had more of a Maldivian feel, with people stopping by to take pictures in flowy dresses. The next one is more popular with local villagers. People bring chairs here to sit on the beach and eat grilled meat from the nearby restaurant, with very reasonable pricing, by the way. It's also where you can set up camp if you're traveling in a camper van. This place has a really nice casual vibe and is a great location for a picnic.
A brief picnic here, this cute house by the lake. And the plan is to drive, like we are here, and the plan is to drive all around the lake and go back from where we came from. So, not sure how long this ride will take.
So yes, lots of places around the lake are great. But if you're willing to drive all the way around, there is a really cool spot waiting for you. I don't think directions are needed here because you are sure to see it. And once you do, you will need to decide if a swim on this colorful beach is worth the colorful climb down. This is the only way to get down to the beach, but you will see quite a few people who also find the trip worth it. Once you make your way down, you will see why Condé Nast calls this place the second most beautiful beach in all of Türkiye. Words are hardly needed here, and I will let the video do the work. And even at the height of the tourist season in mid-August, you won't see many people here. This is incredibly refreshing at a time when most beaches in the area are crowded, loud, and salty. As stunning as Lake Salda is, the best thing about it is probably not its beauty, but its character. It's simple, low-key, and unpretentious. It's as if this place is unaware of its own beauty. And while lots of other beaches in Türkiye come with a set of overpriced sunbeds and loud music, Lake Salda remains a natural getaway. But there is still even more to this lake. Lake Salda is surrounded by lavender fields, and in the height of lavender season, which runs from May to July, it looks like a ready-made Windows screensaver. But even if you're late for the lavender season, there is a cool spot that preserves it for just a bit longer. Generally, I'm not a fan of organized photo zones, but this one's really interesting and sort of accidentally edgy. The entrance fee is only 10 liras, which is about 30 cents, and we were at the lake in 2024, one of Turkey's most expensive years. And remember how earlier I mentioned that having lifeguards when you first approach the lake may come in handy? This is because the shores of Lake Salda are exceptionally muddy. And it's not just any mud, it's the mud that welcomes you and wants you to stay longer. In short, you will need to watch your step. I will leave the location of the photo zone down below. Once again, thank you guys for joining me on this trip, and I hope to see you on the next one. With a latte, of course. Have a wonderful day.